using on a daily basis, and totally honest, I don't know I use all of them right, so that's why I brought my friend Norm here to kind of go over them, because he's very, very knowledgeable as well as being a trainer in the area, but I'll let him kind of elaborate more on himself.
So I've been a trainer for about 12, 13 years. I've been also in the supplement industry, knowing a lot of formulators, knowing a lot of supplement owners. I've been kind of around that area for a long time. I literally spend like 2-3 hours looking up clinical studies of things, so this is my bread and butter right here. So I got you.
So if anyone's gonna know how to use this stuff, it's gonna be you.
Hopefully.
I'm gonna learn a lot, and hopefully you guys learn a lot as well too. So if you guys like this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll jump right into it. The first product we're gonna walk through is the Pump Addict. I have the one that has stimulant in it, and you have the non-stim. So tell us a little bit about that, because honestly, the only difference that I know between them is this one keeps me up till 4 a.m. if I take it too late in the day, and then this one doesn't if I do evening workouts. So that's kind of how I gauge which one to use, but I don't really know. Like, a common question I get is like, why do I use pre-workout, or who should use pre-workout?
Okay, well, that's very fair. I mean, the very first thing that you like is obvious is a lot of people are very stimulant sensitive. So if the way I like to think about it is, a lot of people talk about macro budgets, right? You only have a certain amount of macros in a day. Well, it's the same thing with caffeine.
Okay.
A certain amount of people should only have a certain amount of caffeine in a day. You shouldn't be going over 300, 400 depending on your water intake too. So for example, for me in the morning, I'll always have a coffee.
Yes.
Coffee always in the morning, so usually I get it from Starbucks, which is about 120, 130 milligrams of caffeine, depending on what roast I get. I'll make sure I'll drink water throughout the day, and then if I have a pre-workout, usually it's about 200, 300 milligrams. I don't remember how much is in here. It's
200 milligrams.
200 milligrams.
So that's for half a scoop though. Mm-hmm. So when you see people in those videos who like this is a full scoop. Let me just take this out and not spill it everywhere. So this is a whole scoop, and then I think a lot of people just naturally just take the entire thing and just to the face.
You should never do that. You should never do that. It's really, really bad. So what you want to do is, like, if you really want to be super precise about this kind of stuff, look at the serving size, right?
Okay.
So this one on mine says 14 grams, which is 1 scoop, right? A lot of people just see that as like, okay, 1 scoop, right? But with yours, it says 1 scoop, half a scoop.
Half a scoop. It says 11 grams, so the whole thing
will be
22.
A full scoop, right? But most people won't really look at that. So it sounds a little bit oversimplified, but you need to look at the label. Right? You need to look at the label, because for all you know, you're overdosing yourself in stimulants, or maybe you're underdosing. Because I've seen a lot of people, they'll take something like this and they'll be like, it's not hitting me hard enough. And it's like, well, it says 1 to 2 in the back. What are you taking? It's like 1. It's like, well, take 2.
Take 2.
Take 2.
Very simple.
So that's the main thing to do. Other than that, I would really look at kind of, because a lot of people, for some reason, think that caffeine is the only stimulant, which is absolutely wrong.
Yeah, if you look on the back, there's like, so for instance, DMAE, L-tyrosine, bitter orange, I think that's a flavor to be honest. And then we have like L-citrulline malate and beta-alanine.
Okay, so let me go through all these things for you. Okay, so caffeine, everybody knows what caffeine does. DMAE is a nootropic, so what that does is kind of get you a little bit more focused, a little bit more into the workout. L-tyrosine, which is vegan fermented, which is nice if you're vegan and you want to be a little bit more careful with your pre-workouts. So tyrosine is good for focus also. Bitter orange, it's not just for flavor.
Oh wait, it's peach, it must be bitter orange.
So bitter orange, what that is, it's a little bit like synephrine, or it is synephrine. So essentially what that does is going to make your core temperature a little bit hotter. You're going to feel a little bit more...
Is that the tinglies? You know how some people get tinglies?
We're getting to the tinglies.
Sorry.
We're getting to the tinglies, okay? So what that's going to do is get you a little bit more sweaty, a little bit more, your temperature a little bit higher up in it.
Gotcha.
So the L-citrulline malate, so everybody, people should know that what that does is just increases blood flow, right? So beta-alanine, which is what gives people the tingles.
Okay.
What it helps with is ATP, it'll help with a little bit of power output and stuff like that. And then you have in here L-leucine, which is a BCAA. And then you have glycerol monostearate, which is, it pulls water from the muscles and it gives you a little bit more of a water pump, which is the exact reason why you shouldn't dry scoop it. So anything with monosteroid or anything with glycerol in it, you shouldn't put it to the dome because that's.
A lot of people do that though. It's like a whole trend on TikTok. Is like.
I've done it.
Boom,
I've done it in a pinch. You know, if I only have like a bottle of water or whatever.
Then.
But I'm not too happy about it.
Yeah, no, I've done it and I've like just like everywhere out of my mouth, just.
You have to understand, like, I understand it's kind of a trend, but these things they're not just made to put in water for taste. Like, they're supposed to be dissolved in water. They're supposed to be in there for water.
Interesting.
They're not, like, there's that myth that it hits you harder, which it does, arguably, like, it hits you maybe 5 minutes earlier. But the
benefit's not really that.
No, and it can give you an upset stomach, which is nothing you want if you're doing
I had that. Remember when I went for the run?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So fun fact. I went for a run and took this just to the dome. Didn't measure anything. And then halfway through my run, I was like, I literally feel nauseous and disgusting and I need to stop. And I actually stopped my run. And then Norm messaged me being like, hey, pro tip, probably don't do that. Yeah. So instead you had recommended the Brain Fuel, right? Yep. Which is, I believe, this one. This is one of their newer products from Leaf. Show it. There we go. So this is their Brain Fuel. This is one of their newer products. Honestly, I don't really use this one too much other than for my workouts, but I guess now it'd be more beneficial to probably use this for when I want to go running rather than the pre-workout. So let's talk through this one a little bit. Okay, so this one has caffeine in it too. So I remember as well when this one first came out, you had told me, don't pair this one with this one because that's just a lot of caffeine for me in general. So if you do take this one, you'd recommend taking the non-stimulant pre-workout. If you needed to pair it.
So the non-stimulant has a lot of salt uptake, hydration, and pump. Then this, let me just grab this off of you, would have a lot of things to kind of get you a little bit more focused. So nootropics are like kind of like the new thing. Because
I hear that word a lot and it's just kind of fun to say to people.
Nootropics.
Oh, this one has a nootropic in it.
So a nootropic is beautiful because what it does, it gives you the stimulant feeling of caffeine without really draining your adrenal system. Okay. So you know how like sometimes you have like a coffee and you're like, okay, I have another coffee, and then sooner or later you're like, okay, well 2 coffees is not good enough.
Oh, like you just need more.
So with nootropics, that doesn't happen. It lets you be able to be stimulant without actually costing anything from your adrenal gland. So this is actually I remember when you put this on your Instagram, it was actually really interesting because nootropics there's so many out there that it's really hard to nail a good formula. But when you sent it to me, I was like, it's not that bad actually.
He was like, send me a screenshot. I was like, okay.
Yeah, so it's not that bad. And what I like about it too is that it's lowering caffeine, right? So this is 125 milligrams of caffeine, which is beautiful. It's a sweet spot. So you could totally take this at the end of the day if you want a little bit of boost.
Caffeine sensitive though, so is that still okay for me?
Well, that's up to you.
That's true.
Right?
For me personally, I don't take any caffeine past like 2 o'clock just because it gets a little dangerous for me. Because I do like to sleep. But this one I think I've taken somewhat later in the day and been relatively okay. In terms of ingredients, do you want to go through the ones that are like on the pre-workout? This
has a little bit of L-citrulline in here. So if you mix it together, I believe you would have about 7,500, which is a nice efficacious dose. Caffeine, 125 milligrams, like I said. So 125 milligrams is pretty much like a large coffee.
Oh, okay.
So it's not that bad. And this is, and then it says acetylcarnitine, which is a nootropic. It's a good dose of that. L-tyrosine, good dose of that. Alpha-GPC. So alpha-GPC is a really, really famous nootropic, super strong. So it's a good dose of that, 600 too. And then it has CDB-choline. So CDB-choline is a
CDP?
CDP.
So not CBD.
Not CBD.
Okay.
This is CDP.
I was like, that's interesting.
No. CDB-choline. So that's kind of a newish nootropic. What it does, it crosses the blood-brain barrier, so you can really, really get a little focus, really get in the zone. Usually the dose of that, from what I see in other products, is about 2 to 250 milligrams. This is 300. Copa, that helps with a little bit of relaxation too, but being able to stay focused, has a little BCAAs in it, some taurine for a little bit of saturation, and some B vitamins. We all know what B vitamins do.
So question, because this is just a question that came up to me in my head as you're reading all this stuff. You said this one has BCAAs in it, and so does that one, I believe, right?
Yep.
So if you have BCAAs in your Brain Fuel and in your pre-workout, do I need to take an additional BCAAs?
So that depends. So if you're having so much protein towards the day within your food, essentially you don't really need BCAAs, right?
Okay.
Because you're getting it through your food. You should always get your macros and everything through food. Doing a cut, or they're trying to like lower the calories a little bit.
Okay.
They drink BCAAs also to kind of help them a little bit when it comes to the taste of BCAAs help in general. If somebody's like
doesn't like water,
okay. Right? So that's just kind of out of there. And two is if you're eating a little bit less, the BCAAs, like I have to see your guys.
I don't have them because I drank them.
Okay, well at least you drink them, so that's good. But usually what they have is a lot of minerals in there, a lot of micros in there, a lot of things to really help you kind of push forward when it comes to your workouts, especially if you're in a deficit. Okay. It's up to you. If you're eating a good amount of calories in a day, healthy calories, then I wouldn't worry about BCAAs. If you're doing a fasted workout,
right? So if I wake up at 4 a.m. to do like fasted cardio,
then I would have BCAAs myself.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Another question. Ooh, I got another question.
Okay, I got you.
Okay, so there's BCAAs and then there's EAAs. So what I've heard from general knowledge, no one like come at me for this, BCAAs is more of just like a marketing versus EAAs are the full essential amino acids, so they're better. Agree, disagree? Or just your own opinion?
They're both essential.
Yeah, was it BCAAs only has like 3? Aminos have like all 9?
Arguably, yes. This is that conversation would be a very big.
We don't have time for that.
Big conversation. Always try to have both. To be honest, what you hear from that is I would like agree with you on the most side that EAAs is the same, but that's you're. If you had to choose, which one would you like? Can you take both, or should you just take one or the other? You can take one or the other. Like, to be honest, if you're worried about if EAAs or BCAAs are the one you have to take during your workout, there's the same when it comes to like supplements about overthinking, and that's you're sipping over $100 bills to pick up nickels. You're over worrying about something that it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Both of them are beneficial.
Both of them are very. If you can get both, get both. Honestly, nowadays most companies are adding them both.
Yeah.
So I really.
Believe does have both BCAAs and EAAs. I don't have them out right now because I've been drinking them, so I don't have them on me. But I personally always just use EAAs. One, because I like the flavor a little bit better, but two, I was underneath this idea that if you're gonna drink one or the other, just drink the EAAs. But
yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah. Okay, so I know one thing.
You know some stuff.
Okay, so another thing that I wanted to talk about too is your post-workout meal. Like a lot of people say, like, what should you be having in terms of like your shake? So for me, I don't know if you can tell me if this is right or not. My pre-workout meal is usually like my protein powder and then like my carbs, just so I have a little bit more energy going into it. And then post-workout, I usually just physically like eat something. The reason, well, I'll tell you my reasoning.
Okay.
The reasoning why I do the protein and the carbs is because if I drink it in a shake, I'm more likely to be able to have the time to like eat in my day because it's usually pretty fast for me. So that way I'm not just like on an empty stomach going into my workout. But you can tell me if there's a better way. If I should be doing that combination before or after.
To be honest, that is completely up to the person. So like I like not eating anything before a workout.
Oh, so you like fasted?
And then I'll eat like a big meal after my workout.
Okay.
So I'm opposite. But when it comes to post-workout, what you need is very simple. You need some protein, carbs, and stuff like that. All you need to focus on is after a good workout is protein and carbs. And
just getting the proper nutrients. Your
macronutrients
in.
Exactly.
Okay. In terms of the Believe carbs, I don't know if you've ever used these before. I really like these because it actually makes my drink taste like silky. That's why I like drinking it.
Let's see what's in it.
Let's see what's in it and tell me what's good.
Well, everything's good on it. So this has 25 grams of carbs, which is good, so fast acting.
Yeah.
Potato starch, which is good because it adds to the carbohydrate blend. It has some electrolytes in it, which is nice because your body's going to be, after workout, your body's going to be starving for nutrients, right? So whatever you put in, it's going to really, really absorb. So it has some potassium citrate. So potassium, we all know what that does. We all know what that is. You can get that through bananas. It's salt. So potassium citrate. So citrate just means it's fast acting. So it's good that they put that in there. So it's smart of them. But they put magnesium in there. And yeah, honestly, this is a pretty good blend.
Yeah, I mean, I like it just because of the actual consistency it makes my drink. I mean, I've never used anyone else's carbs, to be honest, but this one is good for me because when I was on prep and I was bulking, I I couldn't eat 200 grams of carbs. Like,
Really?
I love carbs.
I already had that today, 200 grams of carbs. So.
I didn't. But this is good for me when I was bulking just because I just needed that extra bit of carbs. And I was just like, I don't want to physically eat anymore. And so I drink it. So.
Well, yeah, like at the end of the day, like I'm sure you tell your clients who always get your like nutrients from food. But the whole point of shakes and these guys sort of be your secret weapons. If you need it, like, okay, I'm not in the mood to have another 40 grams of carbs or whatever.
Or like another chicken breast. Like
exactly. So these are used, a lot of people honestly abuse protein shakes. I met a guy one time who took like 3 protein shakes a day. There's no reason for that.
Or like the mass gainers. I mean, I don't never try a mass gainer, but a lot of people are just like,
yeah, no, I don't do any of that either. So use these guys as special weapons. You know, if you're not in the mood in the day to have another meal, but you know you need to have a little bit more calories, and then that's when you break into these bad boys.
Okay, perfect. So let's talk about their protein powder really quick too. So I'll tell you why I use it. Okay. I like this one because it's unflavored, which I love personally because I usually pair it with my greens in the morning as like a shake. Or I just like having the different flavor packs here so that way I can just change my protein powder and never get sick of one flavor because I'm someone who's very picky with taste.
Yeah.
So it's a transparent way, and then I'll give it to Norman from here. To go further into
I appreciate that it's transparent.
So what does that mean?
Transparent? It just means that it's very, very honest with what's in it, right? Okay. So like for here, I read on the side that it's sugar-free, it's gluten-free, and it's dye-free. What's really important that it is dye-free. You don't want to add chemicals into it. Like, people already are so fearful of supplements. People give supplements a bad name in general because they're ill-informed. So it's nice when you see companies be a little bit more transparent so that you can really understand what's in it, you can read about it. The worst thing you can find, well, not the worst thing, but one thing you definitely want to steer away from in a product is when there's like a proprietary blend. So it means it just says, this is in it, it doesn't show the dosages, it doesn't show how much. It's like, okay, well,
what am I drinking?
Yeah, exactly.
What's going into this?
Exactly. You want to at least see the calories, see what's going in, and see what's happening. So this in general, it's pretty balanced, right? It has 1.5 fat. It has a good amount of carbs, protein, it has some vitamins, and it has its BCAA list, which is nice.
Oh wow, expensive.
When it comes to protein, the less I read from the label, the cleaner it is. Right?
Yeah, so you don't want like a label that's like meh.
Yeah, because I'm like, what's in here then, right? So it's important to see, make it simple, make it sweet, and then that's it.
Another thing too, so I don't know if you know this, but the True Check, like have you heard of this for Believe? Just making it so that way the results are public. So that way if you wanted to go see what's actually in it, you could go yourself and be like, okay, like, is what they're putting on the label actually true? I know that's one thing that Believe really prides himself on is because a lot of supplement companies would be like, yep, we're clean, we're good, but in terms of being able to like look at it and research it, they
really
make their results fully visible, which is really nice.
Yeah, it is nice because a lot of products can have things. And they say, you ask them like, oh, is this, can I use this in a powerlifting meet or whatever? And they're like, yeah, sure. And then you get popped for the stupidest little thing.
Yeah, there's someone in CrossFit, I think a couple years ago, who used, I won't say the company's name, a pre-workout, and then they got picked, whatever, for using a steroid. And they're like, what?
But it sucks too because your name is kind of tarnished with that and you didn't even know.
And you're like, yo, I'm just taking a pre-workout, like,
So that's why it's really important to find out with your companies too. Like, if you go to their website and you're like, okay, do they have third testing and stuff like that? If they do, then beautiful. And usually their customer service should be really great if you ask them like, hey, where do you do your true checking and everything like that? And if they tell you, then you can trust them.
Yeah, I know for us as athletes from Believe, like if anyone ever asks me certain things about the products, like I can always ask my athlete manager and she's super quick at coming back with me being like, here's all the details, and people feel informed and like safer about it. So let's dive a little bit into one of the most popular supplements that I think everyone like knows about and like definitely tries to use, especially people who are like, oh, I want to get gains. Like, huge! Creatine. So I get so many people asking like, do I use creatine?
Do you use creatine?
That shit. Oh no, we're good. I thought it opened. I use creatine, I do.
Perfect.
Now, let's go over how to use creatine and like why you would use it, and then also glutamine, because this one, I haven't even opened this one because honestly, I got it because someone told me I should get it, but I was like, I don't really know how to use it, so I didn't want to use it. You know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, fair enough. So the biggest questions from creatine are obviously when to take it, and I believe you told me you take it before.
I take mine before.
So I take mine before too, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. What matters with creatine is consistency. if you worry so much about when to take it and you don't end up taking it, this will do nothing, right? So
so you don't want to like miss days.
Exactly.
So
So
you're
even on
taking
your rest day,
it's like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4.
yeah.
No skipping.
No.
So you even take it when you're on a rest day?
Yeah, 100%. Because so with creatine, there's a saturation period. So what that means is after a certain amount, you need a certain amount of creatine in you for it to fully work. So that being said, it's not like it doesn't work right away, but the longer consistency that you use it, the better it will work in the long run. You know what I mean?
Is there ever a point where you just take it for too long?
No, because listen, when it comes to something as simple as creatine and glutamine, we can get these in certain animal products. So like you get creatine in a steak. I don't know if you knew that. Right? So when you can get this every day in your meals. Now I like to have in my body when I take creatine, it's called a washout period. So after like 2 months, I'll just not take any of that stuff for like a solid 3 weeks or a month or something like that.
Okay.
And just to cut my body, because the more your body is used to something at the same time, the less effective it will be.
Yeah.
Right? But these things are the most natural thing. Natural is such used so much now, but it is the most nonchalant thing you can use right now that won't affect you in a bad way. So if you're worried about when to take it, just choose one and stick to it. Because if you're like, I'm gonna take it this day and this day, and I'm gonna take it this day, it's like, oh my god.
Now, does timing matter at all? Like, no, as long as you just take it every day.
Yeah.
So another question that I had, because I remember when I first bought creatine, going into like a supplement store, and I was like, I want to take this, and the guy was like, why? And I was like, well, because I want to build muscle mass.
Yeah.
Anyways, he was like, okay, cool, but if you're gonna use this, you have to make sure that I am actually like working out, because he said otherwise, I'm just gonna gain water weight.
So that is a lie.
Huh? Myth busted.
Yeah. So I remember even in high school, everybody says like, oh, creatine, that's just water muscle, that's just...
Yeah, he said, and if you stop taking it, then you're gonna notice you're gonna lose weight because it was just the water.
There's also different types of creatine out there, so you have the right one, monohydrate creatine.
Yeah.
So just erase that. That's not a real thing.
Gone.
It's not a real
Gone.
thing.
It's out of my
It's not a
brain.
real thing. It's not a real thing.
So for anyone else who was underneath that impression, now we know. Moving on to glutamine, fermented glutamine, which I have not used, literally have not used it because I didn't know how to use it. So Norm's gonna teach me today. So from what I understand, you take this after your workouts and it helps with repair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
That's the extent of my knowledge.
You're right. You're right. You're 100% right. Glutamine is very simple. It's more simple than creatine because it does exactly what you just said. It actually, there's been some studies of people using glutamine on burn victims to help them heal a little bit faster.
Ooh, so many fun facts.
Yeah, there's only a couple clinical studies on that, so
don't quote us.
Don't burn yourself and then pour a whole bunch of glutamine. But it does help with the repair, and it's been experimented on different ways like that. But you are right. All you gotta do is take it after your workout. Most of the time, though, nowadays protein has glutamine in it.
Does my protein have glutamine in it?
Your protein does not have any glutamine in it.
Oh.
Which is why they sell the glutamine, so you can
There
put
we
it
go.
in it. So some proteins do have that, but if you have it on the side, beautiful. Just.
Oh, so I can put it in my shake.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you drink it in general? Oh, you don't drink it in general. Never mind.
I don't drink it.
Okay. Well, you should
But
start.
now I will. Now I will.
You should start.
Okay, awesome. So that's really good. So moving on to another one that I think I get a ton of questions on. Where is it? I think this is it. Energy burner.
I got this.
Oh, he loves this.
I got this. Okay.
So I'm gonna tell you how I use it.
Okay, you tell me how you do
I've
it.
been told that, like, I don't know, I see pictures of people being like, oh, instead of caffeine, I have my energy burner in the morning. I've never done that. I've just used it if I'm doing like fasted cardio.
So it depends what's in here. So if I don't like doing that because just because if it makes me sweaty, why would I want to walk around
Sweaty?
being sweaty? You
A lot
know?
of people like to sweat. So if you like to sweat,
But do you like to get sweat going to the grocery store?
Oh no, I mean like I'm not going to fasted
No, but
groceries.
you mean instead of a coffee?
Oh, I thought you were
That's what I mean.
I don't know how I used it. I was like,
Oh,
I
okay.
just use it for the
Okay.
treadmill.
Well, no, for fasted cardio, it's beautiful.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Because of course you want to sweat in fasted cardio.
But if you're just you wouldn't recommend taking it for like, oh, let me just take it as stuff like or
as a
replacement for my
replacement.
coffee.
It depends on what's in here. So if it has certain things to raise your thermogenic, so this
Which I
is
think it does. makes me sweat because I'm not a sweaty person.
Exactly. So it has Garnecia cambogia in it, which is thermogenic.
Cambogia.
Yeah. And it has L-carnitine tartrate, which is a nootropic and also a fat burner.
L-carnitine?
L-carnitine tartrate.
But is there such thing as called L-carnitine?
Yes, L-carnitine.
L-carnitine. Okay, so I took that when I was younger too because someone was like...
Okay, yeah, that makes you sweaty too.
They told me I was gonna... This was me when I was little and stupid. I was like, I want to lose weight. And they're like, take this.
And you took it.
And I took it.
Did you lose weight?
No.
Okay. This is why there's bad information
out there.
That's my story. But this has a lot of great... So it's nice because it's simple, but it's to the point here. You have something for your caffeine. You have 150 milligrams, so a cup of coffee in a bit, right? You have your green tea, which is going to help you sweat a little bit. You have your Garnecia cambogia to help you sweaty a little bit. You have your L-carnitine tartrate, which is going to give you a little bit of a focus blend, but it's also going to help you burn a little bit of fat also. And then your raspberry ketones.
That sounds like a flavor.
It's not.
Straight up, it's not.
This is gonna help you burn a lot throughout the day. It's gonna help, especially in your calorie deficit. Fat burners are beautiful if you're in a little bit of a deficit for the summer.
Why?
Well, because if you're in a deficit, right, you're hungry, right?
And this helps curb.
Caffeine suppresses appetite. And now, obviously, take that as like, you don't want to suppress your appetite so much.
Yeah, but don't be going out and overdosing on
No,
coffee.
not good, not good.
But this is just good to like, if you're someone who's in a cut, like someone on prep or whatever, this is why a lot of people on cuts take energy burner.
Yeah, exactly. So for example, like you ever realize when you take a big glass or cup of coffee, you're not really hungry after, but that's because caffeine suppresses that.
Gotcha. Okay, that's good to know. So how I'm using it is okay for my fasted cardio.
Beautiful.
In the morning.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
I would honestly, I would even use that for your running if you want.
Really?
Yeah.
Make me sweaty.
Well, you're running, so you're gonna sweat in general.
I don't really sweat, I sparkle.
Okay. Well, that's nice.
Just kidding. This one won't make me sweaty?
Well, moving yourself at high temperatures will
make me sweaty.
Make you sweat. You can't go beyond that. Honestly, what would be?
So this one could work in addition.
Let me see. Honestly, if you want to be a little crazy.
Oh, crazy.
I would do half-half.
Oh, okay.
So
Probably
you
not
get
this
the focus,
blend.
and then you can get the fat burning.
Okay, so if I were, so maybe I'll get energy burner in the peach rim flavor, or rather than the iced tea lemonade, because those two flavors would be nasty together. Delicious apart. Okay, so let's move on to some of the supplements that I for sure, not gonna say for sure, haven't touched per se.
Okay.
These ones are more of like the pill format. I don't take these honestly because, well, I don't know why I got this one.
You definitely don't need Tribulus.
I think I got Tribulus because I was going to give it to one of my friends to try because they were curious. So, well, that's for my male following, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, anyways, because Tribulus is no bueno for females. Anyways, so I have Sugar Balance, ZMA, and probiotics, and then vitamin B6 and magnesium. So I actually use ZMA a ton. I take, what is it, like 2 tablets before I go to sleep, and it makes me sleep like a baby.
So, do you know why you're supposed to take zinc before bed?
No.
That's okay, that's why I'm here. Okay, so, athletes, real athletes like you, when they work out, they expend zinc.
Okay.
So that's why it's really important for athletes like you to take it before bed.
Okay.
Because the more that you're going to work out, whether you're an athlete or not, the more you're going to expend your zinc, which in turn means the less restful sleep you will have. So it's important to have ZMA, magnesium, all that to have a nice restful sleep.
Yeah, I find someone told me, they're like, yo, take it before bed.
They say yo?
They
Take it.
They say yo. And I was like, okay.
And it worked.
And it worked. This one worked.
Okay.
So the next one is vitamin B6 magnesium, which I think I said this before, but the M in ZMA stands for magnesium. Mm-hmm. So if I'm taking this, do I need to take this?
In light of everything going on in the world,
yeah.
I don't think it hurts to over supplement when it comes to vitamins.
Okay.
Worst case,
you just pee it out.
Flush it out.
Yeah.
Or pee it out. But no, I would still use it. To be honest, what I would do is I would take this after my workout and this before bed.
Okay. So, mineral with incredible benefits.
Because
do you want to elaborate on that for me?
So incredible benefits are the vitamins. So the vitamin and the B6, I think everybody should know what that does. Everybody should at least research up on that. But what that does is just going to give you a little bit more energy in the day, make you put a little bit more pep in your step, right? And then the magnesium is going to add to that, give a little bit. It's going to help a little bit with your metabolism. And again, like right now, you should put as much proper minerals and supplementation in your body. So I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Okay, sounds good. So I'll be, in all honesty, I don't take this one that much, but now I will because it's Corona time.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the 20 billion Probios support gut and intestinal health. Again, I won't lie, don't really use this one that much, but all I hear from everyone is like, oh, I want a probiotic, or like they want a probiotic in their protein powder, stuff like that. So
probiotic, what does it do?
Helps with digestion.
So a little bit. So actually, there's been a lot of studies that having a healthy gut will actually help you with a better mood. A lot of people with
that's why I'm so grumpy.
Yeah. A lot of people who've actually battled depression have cleaned their gut a lot more with probiotics, and it helps them a little bit with their moods and a little bit with their hormones. There's a huge study on that. You can definitely read that online. But just in general, it's always good to have something that helps you digest your food a little bit better.
Yeah.
Again, pretty simple. It's just going to help with that gut health. We eat, now in the world, there's so much crap in grocery stores and stuff like that we don't know. It's really nice to have something to really clean out your system, your gut. Not like that, but more like that. Yeah, exactly. And just really help you out and really make sure everything's smooth and, flowing nice.
Smooth and flowing nice. That just reminds I'm just thinking of pooping now, to be honest.
Well, that's what it helps with.
Okay, great. So, now we know. Question. So, there are probiotics in protein powder. Like, there's certain ones advertised. Is there probiotics in my protein powder?
Not that I see.
Which is why they have this. A nice pairing.
Exactly.
So, when would I take a probiotic? Does it matter?
It depends on how many ingredients are in there. Usually what it is either in the morning or when you eat your first meal.
Okay. So you can, if you have a shake in the morning, you could have your shake and then a probiotic.
I would take a probiotic when I have a solid food, not when I have something liquid. Because liquid is going to digest real quick.
Okay, so if you're having, gotcha.
All right.
Okay, click, got it. We understand. Okay, so moving on to the one that's not for me, but for my male following, Tribulus. So this one, Tribulus. I'll just let Norm take this one over because he's
so this has been used for a while in the supplement history, just to help with a man really up their natural testosterone. Very simple, very effective ingredient. A lot like if you're taking this, you're not taking gear, you're not taking anything horrible for your body.
It's just natural.
It's just natural. Like a 30-year-old guy could do this, a 40-year-old guy could do this.
Is there an age that shouldn't take it?
If you're 20, if you can't even buy alcohol yet, then
you're a baby.
You shouldn't take any of these things, to be honest.
Okay.
This should be only for something you want to add when you're, like I said, 30, 40, 50. It's just going to help you give a little bit more testosterone in your body.
Now, is there a time period where you would suggest, like, kind of like the creatine, where you, like, take it for a while and then you, like, ease off of it, or can you just take it?
To be honest, any product you should never take continuously. Right? Okay. No product you should, other than maybe protein powder.
And like the probiotics and like
that's totally fine. With that, the general rule of thumb is like 2 months on, 1 month off.
Okay, cool. That's good to know because I didn't know that. I mean, I don't take Tribulus anyways, but for my male following. Moving on to my favorite supplement, which is the greens. This one is definitely my most used product. As you can see, like I fully am like almost out right now. My favorite flavor is the pineapple mango, honestly, because it tastes like juice. And then you said that you add an ice cube.
Makes it refreshing.
A little refreshing greens. So I'll tell you why I use greens.
Okay.
Is one, it's Corona time, so I figure the more like greens I have in my body, the better. But even before Corona, I was taking it every single morning, just because I'm someone that sometimes I have a busier day, so I don't always have the right amount of like vegetables coming into my meals on a daily basis. So I just take this in the morning. And then also when I was on prep, I took it because I was taking apple cider vinegar, and that helps balance out your pH.
You got it, girl.
There we go. Right. But yeah, I really like the flavor of it in terms of actual like ingredients. Norm will go over all that.
Okay, so it has a long list of superfoods, which is nice. It has a good amount of digestive enzymes also, which is going to help with all this stuff that you're taking together. But even if you're not taking any of this, this is a good amount of digestive enzymes in general. So this is pretty much what's it going to do is it's going to fill that gap. Because a lot of people like you can ask like you get it when you ask your clients like, oh, do you eat veggies? Like, yeah.
Like, yeah, it's so healthy.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, what do you eat? It's like, oh, I eat a pepper. It's like, just one? It's like,
a slice.
Yeah, and it's like that's not the same. We need a lot of veggies in our system.
Yeah, and for the most part, nobody gets enough vegetables. No. And it's not a bad thing to have more vegetables.
Never. You can have as much veggies as possible. There is no repercussions at all. This has a good amount. You should I should always suggest people who are getting supplementation in the beginning is always get a good fish oil, always get a good multivitamin, and always get a good greens. Because you want to start that base of actual products. Like pre-workouts are great, creatine is great, but if you want something to build a great foundation, those are like your staples, you would say. You should always have a green supplement. You should always have a nice multivitamin supplement.
So for people who are like, I don't know what supplements to buy, or like I'm just getting into working out, those are the ones that you would suggest first.
Yeah, so I always tell people who want to buy supplements is that you can't out-train a bad diet and you can't out-supplement a bad program. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much pre-workout and creatine and all this stuff you're taking. If you're not staying dedicated to your program, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You could be taking all the creatine in the world. And you could be taking the fat burner and eating pizza and sushi every night. And nothing's going to happen. So as long as you have those two things in your mind, is that you can't out-train a bad diet, you can't out-supplement a bad program, you're going to be great. Perfect. Okay, so that's pretty good. I think that pretty much covers all of our supplements. The only other one we didn't cover is the D3. I use this one a lot. Again, it's basically empty. And again, I just use it because this is a vitamin that a lot of us lack in general. Yep. And then with Corona, obviously just making sure I have enough vitamins and minerals in my body, which is why I take this one like a crazy person. But that is it, I think. So if anyone has any other questions, make sure to drop it down below. I'll put Norman's Instagram on here as well. So if you guys have any questions, definitely reach out to him and ask, or drop it in the comments below as well. And yeah, that's it. Amazing. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, found it very entertaining and knowledgeable, more knowledgeable than entertaining. I don't know how entertaining supplements can be. He loves, well, for you. I love it. But I will see you guys next time, and then thanks so much again for talking about supplements. Yep.